Oh man, it's kind of hot in here. You've been duped. You've been duped. And you have been duped. We've all been duped, myself included. But by whom, you may ask? Well, it's by the very thing or company that makes a thing sits right in here, in your pockets. It's by the thing you go places with, talk with, sleep with, eat with, and most importantly, share your toughest battles with. What am I talking about? Your phones, of course. You see, in the midst of the rapid development of the tech industry, users, consumers, you are becoming more unaware of the massive grasp these companies have on us. For example, I forgot my script. My phone, oh no! Screen's cracked. What would I do? What would you do? What would you do if your screen was cracked? Would you A, send it in for repair? B, replace it? C, cry? Or D, to live with it? Can I get a show of hands for A? Okay. B? C? Yeah, you're my people. D? Well, thank you for answering. But the most logical choice in this day and age is actually choice A. But why choice A? Why send it in for repair when obviously you're going to be met with them saying, oh man, it's too expensive, the repair, it's too much, just buy a new one. See, this is one of the many scenarios companies try to put you in. They're taking your trust, manipulating it, and twisting it using countermeasures in order to squeeze any leverage and money out of you. There has been a true shift in the ownership of our devices. Hi, my name is Nuth, and today I'll be discussing right to repair. Now, right to repair is obviously a right. Duh. But what it means is the right for repair. It is the right for you consumers to repair your phones without any manufacturer's assistance or restrictions. You bought this, you own it, right? There are 4 things that the right to repair states. 1, products must be designed for easy repairs. 2, consumers and third party must gain access to spare parts and tools at fair, reasonable prices. 3, repairs should never be limited by technical restrictions. And finally, 4, the repairability of a device should be established between you and the seller. Now, does anyone here own an iPhone? Raise your hands, please. Oh my goodness. Now, those iPhone users, any of you have a cracked screen? I mean, it's expected, sorry. So, I have something crazy to tell you. How does it feel to pay upwards of nearly 12,000 baht to get a screen replacement? 12,000 baht, money equivalent to a brand new iPad right off the shelves. Money equivalent to any of these smartphones that will last you for another 3 years. Money equivalent to 60 white teas. Most importantly, money equivalent to 360 bowls of kway teow. That is an absurd amount of money. How can any phone repair cost up to 50% of the original price? And don't worry, it's not just you, Apple. Every other company you can think of is doing this. This, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the many ways companies manipulate you in preventing repair. By ludicrously marking up the prices of repair, it leaves you with only a few options. Cry, live with it, or to replace it completely. Now, on the topic of Apple, they are probably the biggest perpetrators in violating your rights. I'm sorry, it's true. Because, for example, since 2011, they have pioneered a new type of screwhead to be implemented in all of your devices. This screwhead cannot be unscrewed by the average Phillips head screwdriver. Why would they do this? Is it because Apple thinks they're quirky and they're not like the other girls? Sort of. But it's for the very reason that they do not want you to unscrew it with the average Phillips head screwdriver. Now think about this. The iPhone 12, that came out about 2 or 3 years ago. Anyone here an iPhone 12? Nice. I have some bad news for you. That thing has 4 different types of screws. 4. That's like having 4 different locks or keys to a door. Imagine that. But not only is Apple participating in these heinous crimes, all other tech companies you can imagine are doing the same thing. For example, the current industry standard is the use of non-reusable additives, such as glue. This makes repair difficult because you have to physically pry out your expensive and fragile phone screens just to get a glimpse or a speck of a sight of the jumbled mess that is your phone. And past that forbidden cheese, you will be met with a jumbled mess of wires and components soldered on together like Frankenstein. The problem with this is that you can't make specific repairs when they're in this configuration. It makes repairs impossible to the point where you have to replace the whole thing completely. Now, some of you may be aware of some of the restrictions Apple places when you do install an unofficial part. For example, the battery might not hold as much charge as it did before, and you want to replace it. But remember, the price is insane to just send it to Apple and get it replaced. So instead, you look for more other alternatives, international alternatives. You might go to wish.com and place a new one in, but soon you'll be met with notifications telling you it is unsafe, please take it out for the love of God. Or the battery percentage disappearing completely. Or your battery monitoring function to cease functionality. Apple, or your phone, will literally gaslight you into thinking that you are poor and you cannot afford the repair. How could you let this slide? So let me ask you this. Do you truly feel like you own this? Because when I found out, I certainly didn't. Let's take the battery example again. Let's say you did want to swap it out. You could just take it out and put it back in, right? Like any other device. But nowadays, we don't do that. When it runs out, you have to send it back to the factory. But why? You don't send the TV remote back to the factory to replace the AA batteries. No one does that. In fact, in 2021, Consumer Reports reported that 20% of all consumers who had a phone break in the past 5 years had actually gotten it repaired professionally. Oh, sorry, I actually made that number up. It's for dramatic effect. Because the real number is lower, 16%. 16% of all majority had actually gotten it repaired. In the same report, 25% of consumers initially had it planned to get repaired. However, due to rising costs, they could not. This is what I mean by you are being duped. We are still in the massive hands of these companies. Our trust in them is being twisted, manipulated, and shoved down the drain while they act like nothing is happening at all. But not all is lost for us measly consumers in the presence of these giant corporations. There is obviously the right to repair movement, which you all can advocate to. And here's how. First way is the simplest way. Take better care of your phones. And I know this might sound crazy, and you might have not heard of it, but there are consequences to your actions. Secondly, if it did break, you could opt for more organizations, such as iFixit, who specialize in creating these special toolkits that will let you dissect your phone and repair it yourself. Or a different way is to evaluate your purchases based on the repair guidelines. Before you buy a product, ask yourself, 1, is the product easily repaired? 2, do you have access to the parts at a reasonable price? Have you heard that this product might be limited by the manufacturer? And finally, 4, is the repairability of a device established? Finally, another way you can solve it is if you didn't want to use iFixit, do it yourself, or even pay for the big bills, you could offer your phone to the services of a local business. These third-party repair shops represent us consumers against these corporations. By helping them, you are giving them more leverage against these companies. So let me end off on this. Let's campaign towards a future where we take our voices back as consumers, where we take our power back and hopefully our money too. But let us campaign for a future where consumers and companies finally see eye to eye. Thank you.